Hello, my name is Tyler Winslow. I'm a marketing student from the University of Baltimore, and this is a short presentation on cloud computing and its use in the business world. What is cloud computing? According to PC Mag, in the simplest terms, cloud computing means storing and accessing data and programs over the internet instead of your computer's hard drive. Cloud computing not only reduces risks, but improves productivity through seamless collaboration. And on the right here, we have a little diagram of a basic outline of how a lot of cloud systems work. Here's a computer here, a control node which can access servers or database storage. And then over here is the computer network that you can also access. So these are the three things controlled by one control node that you can access from your one computer. You can access a database, a number of application servers, or even an entire computer network just from, it doesn't have to be a computer, you can do tablets, smartphones. It's really coming along to make it even more convenient to do it on the go. Alright, disaster recovery and business continuity with cloud computing, which I think is one of the most beneficial reasons to move to at least some kind of cloud computing. It allows you to keep a copy of data off-site, which allows your company to continue to operate in the event of a data loss. So if you have a fire or a server goes down or a power outage or anything that would disrupt your ability to access data at your local site, you now have the ability to use the internet to go off-site and access your files, presentations, documents, wikis, discussion boards, everything that you might need to continue to operate in the event of a disaster. It really eliminates the cost that can be associated with downtime. If an organization goes down and they can switch to the cloud, they can still get a majority of their work done for that day, maybe that week, depending on how long they're out. But if you don't have any of those files, not only do you run the risk of possibly losing your data, but you also have no access to it until you can get your drives restored and your business up and running again. So, according to eweek.com, cloud computing presents a low-cost disaster recovery and business continuity solution for small and mid-sized businesses and a more cost-effective alternative to cost-conscious larger corporations. And this is true. It is much cheaper most of the time to switch to a cloud service and store data that way through Amazon or Google Drive or OneDrive or SharePoint than it is to build your own separate data center to flick on in the case of a local disaster. It's really expensive. The maintenance is ridiculous, especially if you're not a firm that deals in tech whatsoever. If you are a mortgage firm or a law office and you don't have any kind of technical savvy on hand, then you're really at a disadvantage and you're going to end up spending a lot of money, especially if you don't have large files and databases to access. If you just need to keep control of some documents or something like that, then it's really a low cost solution that can really save you a lot in the long run. All right, increased productivity through cloud computing, which is the other big benefit. All right, according to Cetram.net, the cloud allows your employees to stay connected no matter where they are, whether they are working from home, on a plane, or at a prospect's headquarters. As long as they have an internet connection, they can access all the important business files and applications they need to stay productive. Which means it really lets you do business on a global scale much easier. You can simultaneously work with a coworker who's in Hong Kong about to present, and you guys can work together simultaneously to put the finishing touches on that presentation. Or you can share Excel spreadsheets with someone who's in your London office, and you can show budget reporting and do forecasts and all that stuff. And it's much more visual, and it helps people understand what they're doing as opposed to just having a quick phone call about some numbers. If you can really sit there and work through it with someone, they really get a better understanding and you can really convey your idea a lot easier. So it really increases your productivity. Then you don't have to call that person back 5 or 6 times. They understand what's going on. They saw what you were working through much better than if you had just emailed it to them and then had a conversation about it, emailed it back and forth. And it really allows people to collaborate. There's also services like Microsoft SharePoint, where there are discussion boards, and all kinds. You can customize your SharePoint site to do what your company needs it to do. So you can have people having open-ended discussions about new marketing techniques, or ways to go after new prospects, or how to increase sales in a certain region. And you can centralize it. Everyone will only see what they need to see. And that's just one of the things that you can do with cloud computing. I mean, really, collaboration instantaneously, and it really allows your company to be a lot more productive and you get a lot more transparency. You can see what's going on, or at least see what you need to see is going on. Now, problems with cloud computing. Everything has problems. According to V3, if your network goes offline, for example, staff can be left twiddling their thumbs, unable to log into key services and read important files, or if they're on the move and want to access data on the go, often touted by cloud vendors as the easiest thing in the world. A lack of connection can render this benefit redundant. And this isn't just with cloud computing. If your network goes down, that's going to create problems one way or another. With everything being connected to the internet, you're going to lose email. Depending on how you set up your phone lines, you could lose your phones. So it really is an issue, but it's not an issue that is only associated with cloud computing. But it really does. If you don't have your files anywhere locally, it can really create some problems. It can really put the downtime up there, and that really cuts into your bottom line. And I'm not going to call it an easy solution, but there is a solution. In the attempt to mitigate the effects of your connection being down, firms should use a hybrid approach to cloud computing. This hybrid approach not only includes storing data in the cloud, but also locally. That way, in the event of a connection loss, you can still operate to some degree until your connection is restored. So that means maybe having a server that will back up your files every evening, or making sure that you're keeping important files on your workstations. And then that gives you that hybrid approach also, that if you lose your connection to the cloud, you still have your files locally, but then also if you lose your local files and you still have your connection, then you can still retain those files. So the hybrid approach is not cheap. Getting servers paid for and set up is expensive. It can be upwards of thousands of dollars. But is it worth it? Of course. Losing your files and not being able to work and having an entire firm be down for a day or two can cost you a whole lot more than a $2,000 or $3,000 server and some upkeep. And it really has just become the cost of doing business nowadays in this information age. Alright, the futures of cloud computing. The future is bright. The future is landing, according to this little picture I found on the internet. Alright, according to INC.com, by 2017, 2/3 of all business workloads will be processed in cloud data centers. According to data cited by the New Jersey Institute of Technology, the percentages of organizations using the cloud for some form of database as a service is also expected to double by 2017, from 23% to 44%. So the cloud's not going anywhere. We're going to be using it more and more. It's going to continue to weave its way through our lives and the way we do business. So we may as well embrace it and really try to get an understanding of it, how we can utilize it. So thank you all very much. This video was prepared to complete a course requirement. Contents reflect my knowledge and view on the topic and does not reflect the views of any other person or entity. So thank you very much.